Okay, let me make something very clear right now, before any of you start trying to jump down my throat. I love S.P.D. It is a great season. It is another great space season to go up there with In Space and Lost Galaxy. However, it is not better than Dino Thunder. Just want to make that very clear before you guys start saying, oh, well, you hate S.P.D. and you're just going to bash it the whole time. No, that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to give this a very positive review, but I'm not going to give it as high a score as Dino Thunder, because Dino Thunder is in a class of its own from every other season in this show, because of that connection it has with me. And while I liked S.P.D. as a kid, it's definitely one of those seasons that's better on reevaluation as an adult. Just want to make that clear. What's up? What's happening? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Animation Station. You know when to stop this shit, bringing anything animation, including live action every now and then. In this case, the Power Rangers, and the next season of the franchise in Power Rangers S.P.D. The third Disney season. And it's a great one. This one's great. It's just as great as you've heard from everybody else. But it's not perfect. It has a couple little flaws I want to point out. But first, as always, let's get the analytical stuff out of the way. First up, we have our main Rangers. We have Sid, the Pink Ranger, played by Alicia Perrott. We have Bridge, the Green Ranger, played by Matt Austin. We have Z, the Yellow Ranger, played by Monica May. Sky, the Blue Ranger, the best Blue Ranger. I will fight you on this. As much as I love Ethan from Dino Thunder, he does not top Sky. Sky is the best Blue Ranger we've ever gotten in the franchise. And if you've seen it, you would understand why. He's played by Chris Violet. And then we have Jack, the Red Ranger. And I think only the second Red Ranger of color, because the first one was Shane and Ninja Storm. I think. No, the first one was TJ and Turbo. There we go. It was TJ and Turbo. And then Shane and Ninja Storm, and now Jack and S.P.D. He's played by Brandon J. McLaren. And then for the other ones, we have Commander Kruger, who's also the Shadow Ranger, played by John Tui. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Then we have Kat, the Cat Ranger, even though she's only in one episode. Like, the Ranger part, not the character. The character is just part of the supporting cast, but she's technically a Ranger. That's why I'm putting her up here. The Cat Ranger, played by Michelle Langstone. Then we have Sam, the Omega Ranger, voiced by Brett Stewart. And then we have the Nova Ranger, who's just called Nova. Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking with that one either. As I am hitting keys on my thing. Sorry about that. And he's played by Antonia Preble. And then for the crossover characters of the season, of course, you got Dino Thunder. You got Kira, Ethan, Connor, Tommy, and Trent. And then for the supporting cast, we only have one character because I've already mentioned most of them. Well, I mean, there's also Boom, but technically he was also a Ranger in one episode, even though it wasn't a dream sequence, but yeah, Boom's in there. Boom's cool. I forget the actor's name, but he's cool. There's Allie, played by Beth Allen. Now let's get to the villains, and first up we gotta talk about the evil Rangers of the season, the A-Squad Rangers. We have A-Squad Red, played by Gina Varela, A-Squad Blue, played by Nick Kemplin, A-Squad Green, played by DJ Senna, A-Squad Yellow, played by Greg Cooper, and A-Squad Pink, played by Claire Dugan. I'm sorry, I don't know what's happening to my voice today. Then from there, we have Emperor Grum, the main villain of the season, and an awesome villain at that. Not as awesome as Mezagog, but he's still awesome. He's played by Renee Nalfahu? Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Then we have Mora/Morgana, played by Olivia James Baird and Josephine Davidson. Broodwing, played by Jim McClarty? Sorry if I cannot pronounce things, so I'm sorry. Omni, played by Jeff Dolan. And of course, for this season, the Foot Soldiers are Crybots. They're fine. I don't think they're as well designed as the Tyranodrones from last season, but they work for the season that this is in. And then we have Zeltrax returning again, because he's the one that returns in the Dino Thunder crossovers. Well, crossover. Played by James Galen again. And then, of course, like I said, we have the Tyrannodromes back again. And then for the weapons, this one's interesting, because most of these are universal with the exception of maybe one or two. So, for the universal weapons, we have the Delta Blaster and the Delta Max Strikers. And then Shadow Ranger gets his Shadow Saber. Pretty much a metal sword. You know, like one of those weird swords that kind of looks like a pipe. Yeah, it's that kind of thing. Then we have the Delta Enforcers, which are the weapons of SWAT, of the SWAT mode and Ace Squad. And then the K9 Cannon. And then for the Battleizer, we only get two in this season, but thankfully, just like Dino Thunder, one of them is universal to all the Rangers. And that is SWAT mode. It's okay. It just looks a little extra flashy for the sake of being flashy, but it's still okay. It's still cool. And then for the Red Ranger, he gets an S.P.D. Battleizer. Not much more to say there, and as for the Battleizer itself, it's fine. Not as cool as Triassic Ranger. Then for the vehicles, we have Delta Cruiser. Then for red, blue, and green specifically is the Delta Patrol Cycles. Shadow Ranger gets a Delta ATV. Omega Ranger gets a Uniforce Cycle. And then for the whole team in SWAT mode, they get the SWAT Truck. Pretty self-explanatory. Then we have the Zords. We have Delta Runner 1 through 5, each of them specific colors. The Omega Max Cycle for the Omega Ranger. The SWAT Flyer 1 through 5 when they activate their SWAT mode, and Delta Base. And then for the Megazords, we have the Delta Squad Megazord, which is okay. I like how it is very mobile, despite being a giant robot. That is something I will commend them for. The Omega Max Megazord, the Delta Max Megazord, the SWAT Megazord, and the Delta Command Megazord. Yeah, you don't get many Megazords in this season, which is a bit odd. Okay. Now we move on to the essential episodes. Yeah, I know, we're not even 10 minutes in and we're already up to the essential stuff. Yeah, there's very little analytical stuff to really talk about with this season. So for the essential episodes, we have Beginnings 1 and 2, that's the pilot. Dogged, this is the intro of the K9 Cannon. Sam 1 and 2, the intro of Sam, who later becomes the Omega Ranger. Shadow 1 and 2, this is the Shadow Ranger arc, and Kruger becoming a Ranger. Then we have Wired 1 and 2, this is when Mira becomes Morgana after failing Emperor Grum one too many times. Dismissed, this is when Commander Kruger is fired, temporarily, but yeah. Messenger 1 and 2, this is the Omega Ranger arc. Reflection 1 and 2, this is the two-parter where Sky interrogates Murloc. I'm not gonna say why he specifically interrogates Murloc, because that's a spoiler. But let me just say it's one of the darkest episodes in Power Rangers. I'll leave it at that. Then we have SWAT 1 and 2, this is when the Rangers go through training to gain SWAT mode. Then we have Catastrophe. Puns. Yeah, that one's not funny. Cat morphs into the Cat Ranger. And then we have History, the crossover with Dino Thunder. But only the main three Rangers. Okay, a bit weird. Alright. Then we have Badge. This is when the Rangers' badges are stolen and they're critically injured. Then we have Insomnia. This is the obligatory clip show episode we have in every season. And then we have Wormhole. So let me ask you guys a question. What's cooler than one crossover with Dino Thunder? How about two? In the same season? Yeah, that's what you get with Wormhole. It is literally a second crossover with Dino Thunder. And this time, Tommy and Trent join in, so you get both of the full teams together. Well, not the full team of S.P.D, because you only get Cat, Nova, and... Cat and Nova, and... Cat and Nova are not in that crossover, but I think Sam is. So, yeah. It's not the full team of S.P.D, but it's pretty much the full team, plus the full team of Dino Thunder. Looks sick. Not to mention, it is Super Dino Mode and Swamp Mode combined together. That alone just makes it worth watching. So yeah, really cool that they got Dino Thunder to come back for 2 crossovers for this season. And then we have Resurrection. This is the penultimate episode of the season. And then Endings 1 and 2, which is, of course, the finale. And before I get to my overall thoughts, I want to talk a little bit about the suits. They're cool. I don't think they're as great as the Dino Thunder suits, but they're still pretty cool. They don't have a molded mouth, but they have a silver thing. Nice compromise. The visor takes over half the whole helmet. That's a little obnoxious. But I do like the design of them having their numbers on one side and that side of them being all black with the white gloves and the white boots. That looks cool. And I also like its police theming and the fact that these Rangers are more, since this is more of a police season, of course they're going to go straight for the blasters and not mess around with the opponent, which is really cool to see. They also all have civilian powers as well, but for the life of me, I couldn't remember what they were, so my apologies. The only one I can remember off the top of my head is that Jack can walk through walls. That's pretty much it. Sorry if I don't remember the others. If you know them, tell me in the comment section, because I've forgotten. Now, for my overall thoughts on the season, this is a great season, but it's not better than Dino Thunder. I feel like a few flaws were taken here and there, like for example, Sam the Omega Ranger in the future, just being a glowing orb. Yeah, that was lazy. How Cat only gets to morph into the Cat Ranger for 1 episode, that feels cheap. The A Squad Rangers turning evil near the very end of the season, that felt rushed. And just a couple extra plot lines and storylines in here just didn't really feel like they were necessary. One too many plot lines, I'll just put it like that. But it's still a great season. I still really enjoy S.P.D, and I can see why it's a fan favorite, but at the same time, I'm very mixed on it, because it has great elements in it, but it also has a lot of stupid things. And don't even get me started on that one guy that is on Grum's side the whole time, and then suddenly switches to the other side at the end just to save his own rear. I forget the dude's name, but I hate that character, and I hate that stupid swap. It's so stupid. And some of the Rangers are a bit shafted. We don't learn much about Sid, and we don't learn much about Bridge, but we do learn a bit about Z, Jack, and Sky. And of course, we learn a lot about Commander Kruger and his connection with Emperor Grum. But I don't know, Sid just got a bit shafted, if you ask me. Because we don't really get to know that much about her. And then Bridge is just the comic relief ranger that we get in every season, so yeah, that's my thoughts on S.P.D. It's a great season, I like its police theme, but it has a good bit of flaws that keep me from being able to call it amazing. It's great, but I'm not sure I would call it one of the best in all of Power Rangers. Who knows, maybe after I finish watching and reviewing all of these, that might change and it might make the top 10. Who knows. But as of right now, for me, S.P.D is an 8 out of 10. It's a great season, but just marred by a couple of flaws here and there. Okay, thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later today when I give a little bit of a hot take, because I really like the next season. Yeah, I really like the next season. No matter how much you guys bash it, it's one of my favorites. And I'm going to explain to you why. So, tune in next time when we take a look at the underrated gem that is Power Rangers Mystic Force.